Hey everybody, I have something super fun to show you today. Now, if you followed along, one of the other videos and spreadsheet that I was showing you was how to calculate your true worth. We know a lot of times people don't know where to start on pricing their product or their service. Now, today, what I'm going to talk about is this cool little spreadsheet to help you figure out how much money do you need to earn in your business to create your dream life. And I really think this is the place you should start, because once you know exactly what you're aiming for, then all of a sudden raising your prices or getting creative with what you're trying to do becomes a whole lot easier, because guess what? You know what you want to do with that money. So let me just shrink my head down here a little bit and just follow along. Now, on this spreadsheet, just like all of them, there should be a getting started tab at the very bottom, and it will basically tell you make a copy of it, of the spreadsheet. So when you get it, you'll just do file, make a copy. And then what I like to do, I kind of like to double up. I make another copy, and that copy I keep in a folder called templates on my computer or in my Google Drive. I always have it just in case I mess it up. Then the second thing I like to do, if it makes sense, is I will drag this spreadsheet up here on my little task bar. And then it's always there front and center, and I can use it all the time. And on this sheet, it has a link to this video that I'm talking about, so you can always go back and rewatch it. Quick little plug down at the bottom of this getting started, I talk about my digital business academy. So if you want cool, I call them my digital drops every month. If you want resources, training, coaching, you need to jump in. It's less than going to Starbucks once a week. So if you want to jumpstart your business and really get the support on the back end, you need to join us. We would love to have you. So anyway, that's the getting started page here. And then the next let me just quickly run through on the bottom here. The next tab or sheet is called log. And so this is what we're looking at. Then the next one is called dashboard. And then the very last one is called list of expenses. So the list of expenses is where you are going to start. Again, I'll just make this a little bigger so that you don't have to strain. And basically, this is where you just kind of take your budget items, if you have a budget, and figure out what the categories and what your expenses are. And you can change the categories to whatever makes sense to you. If you don't call it housing, if you call it something else, whatever makes your heart happy, okay? And then put what the expense item is. We're going to use that on our log spreadsheet. So be as detailed as you want here, whatever makes sense for you. Okay. So we've got housing, transportation, food, health and wellness, etc. Okay. And you can just keep going down and down and down. And then there's some blank lines here too. So the idea is think big. So right now, maybe you're not spending very much on personal health or pampering yourself, all that kind of stuff. But I want you to dream big. Maybe right now you're not saving money. So dream big, build up your emergency fund, build up your retirement fund, and so forth. So that is under that first tab, list of expenses. Okay. Then go back over to that tab down at the bottom that says log. And this is where you start putting in, basically, this is kind of your budget. I'll shrink it down for a quick second just so you can see the big picture. And so you are going to figure out your expenses, and we're going to calculate it per year so that you've got an annual goal that you have for your income. And if it's something that you pay, once a week, you multiply it so that you get 52 weeks for that expense. If it's once a month, you get the drift. Okay. So this is what it looks like. We fill out the category. Then we type in the expense item, and then what is the cost? How many times? Is it reoccurring? And then we get a running total. So let me just make this a little bigger now so that you can see it. So for instance, the very first one here, how many of us, let me move my head up here. How many of us would love to have a housekeeper? All right. And if you do have a housekeeper, maybe that housekeeper comes in once a month, but maybe you would love to have the housekeeper once a week. Okay. Now, so the first thing you have to decide is what category. Okay. So, if you'll notice the list of categories here, and you can modify it, there's a little pencil when you do the drop down. Again, whatever makes sense for you. This particular line item, we're saying this is a non-negotiable. Honey, I want a housekeeper, non-negotiable. That's top of my list of things that I'm going to be spending my money on. Okay. So anyway, you just figure out what category it is, and then you write down what the expense is. So in this instance, it's a non-negotiable. It's a housekeeper. How much is that housekeeper going to cost you? $150. That seems reasonable. How many times do you want that housekeeper to come? Now, if you're just starting out, maybe you're going to change this to 12 times, okay? Once a month. Or maybe if you do have a housekeeper, maybe you're going to change it to twice a month. So that would make 24. Okay. So you're just adding that, and you'll notice that as you do, the number over here to the far right, the total cost per year fluctuates based on what you're putting in here, the cost and how many times. All right. Don't worry too much about those numbers. And we're not looking at the numbers. We're looking at what do we want our lifestyle to look like and feel like. And then sometimes you'll have non-recurring. So again, what we're doing is tracking things that normally we spend money on every month, but occasionally you might have something that comes up once a year or twice a year, whatever. So the example here is a Disney vacation. And maybe you don't want to go to Disney. Maybe you want to go to Hilton Head, South Carolina vacation. Okay. Whoops, I think I put that in the wrong category. Let me undo this here. Nope, I did. Okay. So I'm going to put this again. Hilton Head, South Carolina vacation. All right. And what's the cost going to be? I'm just going to round up, I don't know, 4,500. And how many times? Once a year. It's a non reoccurring. Okay. 4,500. Okay. And once a year. Now, maybe instead of, maybe you go there twice a year, or maybe you want to take two vacations like this. In that sense, it's kind of reoccurring, I guess, but you get the drift of what I'm saying here. Okay. Let me put this back to 1. That'll make more sense here in just a minute. Okay. Then the category. Now, maybe your family vacation, you don't consider it a luxury item, but it is part of your health and wellness or your entertainment, but you're putting it in there that once a year you're going to go on vacation. Now, another example is, maybe you have family that live in another country or something, and that would be like a luxury item. Boy, if we could go there, that would be great. Anyway, I think you can figure out how to do this. Let's just take a look at the living expenses. So again, your mortgage, maybe your mortgage or your rent is $1,800. Normally we pay it once a month. Okay. Do you have taxes? $2,000 once a year, homeowners insurance. And if these don't apply to you, don't delete the columns, but you could just put 0. Okay. Or 1, whatever makes sense for you. All right. So maybe you have a homeowners association, it's only $125 a year. Okay. And then for your electricity, maybe you're spending, we'll say $350 every month. Your water, maybe $100. Okay. How much gasoline, fuel, car insurance, here, that's probably a little low. We'll say $150. Maintenance and repairs. This could be for your house, your cars, whatever. So I'm going to factor in 200 and make sure you put how many times a year. So I'm going to be like putting money aside to pay for those new tires and, any maintenance things that you have. How much are you spending on groceries? It's just my hubby and I. So we really don't spend that much. Dining out, we honestly don't eat out a lot anymore, but I'm just going to say, let's say 200 4 times. Not 4 times, 12. I mean, honestly, we hardly eat out. Do you work someplace and you're spending money at a vending machine? Again, just leave those columns blank. Health and wellness, the list goes on and on. Okay. So what I would do is just start filling out the expense category, then assigning, the expense item, and then assigning what category. Okay. Is that making sense? So this is your worksheet, the log. This is where you're going to spend most of your time. And then it's going to show you your total cost per year for all of those. And now this is where the fun part comes. The next tab over is the dashboard. And in the dashboard, I'm saying you don't have to do anything on this. It will automatically calculate things for you. So here, this column, number of expenses, it's coming over to the log and it's just counting everything in column C. So as you continue to add there, that number will change. And then, surprise, surprise, it doesn't take long to spend that money, right? So total expenses, and did I put savings in here yet? Now, some people don't consider savings as an expense, but if you don't take it out at the top, it never gets done. Okay, so I'm just going to say retirement savings. And in my log here, there is a savings. How much? So let's say I'm going to put $500 a month for that. And let's do another savings. And maybe this is my emergency savings that I'm trying to build up. And let's say I'm going to put $250 a month. Okay, I'm just making up numbers here. Okay. And then again, when we come back, notice that this number's gone up now. So total expenses, because it's also calculating what we're putting into the savings, because we're viewing that as a bill. Because if we don't, it never goes in there. Okay. And then what's interesting is it gives us a breakdown per year, per month, per week, per day, and per hour. All right. Let me mention one other thing when I come back over here to list of expenses. I put on here some business expenses, kind of big categories. I have other spreadsheets where I have like my monthly business expenses that I keep track of. But if you've been in business more than a year, you probably have a guesstimate of how much your monthly reoccurring expenses. Maybe you want to factor in some travel. Maybe you want to go to a conference a couple times a year. Maybe there's equipment that you buy every year and the taxes that you need to be paying on your business. Okay. So all of those go under business expenses, but then they will also show up here in this. So coming back here, I got sidetracked just a minute, but coming back here per week, if I'm going to hit this goal of 112,000 per week, I need to be seeing coming into my account 2161. Okay. Per day, 30 or 307, per hour, 12. And quite honestly, 12 bucks an hour is way too cheap. So But you see where I'm going here. All right. So it's very eye-opening. Then if we come over here, the category specific summary, what I like about this is it shows us based on what we factored, what's our non-negotiables per month. And I will say this, let me come back to the log. Quite honestly, I mean, like food and rent, that's kind of non-negotiable, but, but, depending on if you have somebody else that you're working with on your budget, you both know you need that, but maybe you're saying your housekeeper is non-negotiable. Okay. So how you set these categories up is up to you. But if you really want, that those non-negotiable items, you need 3,600 every year or 300 every month to pay for that. Then it shows our luxury items, again, our vacation, entertainment, and then living expenses. So now we're kind of getting into the bread and butter of what does it cost just to live, to pay my rent, to pay, or my mortgage, and to have food on the table, things like that. And then some of the added things. So, things to make you feel better, things to take care of your health. And then we have that savings category. So those two saving items, I would need $750 a month to put that in there. All right. And then the last little thing, which I think this is really fun also, is you can filter by category. So over here, right now it's pointing to health and wellness. What is everything in the health and wellness that I had listed on that list of expenses? All right. And if I do the drop down arrow, so I'm just going to say living expenses. Now I can see, okay, my mortgage is $21,000 a year, $1,800 a month, property taxes, and I can go down the line here. If I switch over to savings, gives me a breakdown of what my savings, my luxury items. Here, the vacation to Brazil I classified as a luxury item. I don't have to have it. Maybe I really want to have a chef come in and cook for me. So it just is a beautiful way for you to figure out where your money is going. And that spreadsheet, let me just show it to you real quick here. This one, the time value calculator, remember we talked about how much time are you spending on your job, how much income is coming in, and then we talked about the projected growth, because once you do this, you realize, I'm not making very much money, and if I really want to hit my goals, I need to increase by 2 or whatever. So if we did this, we would be getting 180,000 a year. So then come back to this. So then we can see here the total expense is only 112. All right. So it just gives us a way to figure out what to charge. And then as we get that money coming in, where is that money going? So that every little dime and penny that comes in has a place to go. All right. Hope you like this. Again, I'm going to do a little plug for Digital Business Academy, because if you're not part of our membership, you need to jump in. We have a lot of fun. I share so many resources with you. And if you happen to catch this like on YouTube or something, I sell these in my Etsy shop, or you can join the membership and get it as part of the digital drops. As always, thanks for watching. And if you are on YouTube, hey, hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to grow my channel. All right. Thanks so much, and see you in the next video.